Now, thousands of victims of crime, including survivors of domestic abuse, could receive justice more swiftly under a new approach to court cases being rolled out across Scotland. The initiative has been tested in 5 sheriff courts and has resulted in the early resolution of hundreds of cases. The judge who led the project says it could transform the system, but some defence lawyers believe its impact will be limited. Our Home Affairs correspondent David Cowan reports.
Police Scotland says 500 of its officers attend court every day, many when they're supposed to be off duty, but only 10% end up giving evidence. Trials are routinely called off after last-minute plea deals. Lauren's case took 14 months to get through the courts and was adjourned 3 times. The pandemic played a big part in the delays, but she's discovered many other victims of domestic abuse face a long wait for justice.
This is such a common theme among women in the courts, and it shouldn't be like that. It's a very, very lonesome journey, and I think there has to be a lot more work put into these areas where we're falling short.
The new approach aims to improve the system for victims, witnesses and the accused in summary cases. They're heard by a sheriff without a jury and typically involve crimes like domestic abuse, assault, drink driving and breach of the peace. The judge can impose prison sentences of up to 12 months or fines up to £10,000. In the 12 months to March this year, the courts dealt with more than 65,000 summary cases. Over 50,000 were put down to go to trial. Evidence was led in just over 5,000. The pilots involved trying to avoid the need for a trial to be fixed.
Firstly, it's the early provision of evidence, so the police are required to submit evidence to us at a much earlier stage. The second part is the early engagement between the Crown and Defence.
The result was that 530 cases in the pilot courts did not require trials, 18,000 witness citations did not have to be issued, 11,000 of them for police officers.
The big thing for me is about releasing capacity. We need to make sure that officers are spending their time wisely and efficiently and that we can deliver best value, and that's in local communities.
If this approach had been in place nationwide when the pilots were being run, it would have resulted in 3,300 trials not being fixed to go ahead. That's a potential reduction of 5%. The judge who led the project says it's delivered transformational improvements.
I'm incredibly optimistic that as the principles of summary case management bed in, it will lead to cultural changes. And with digital improvements, we are likely to see that 5% figure increase.
But an association which represents defence lawyers says they're being asked to do more work for no more money.
There are less than 800 of us in the whole of Scotland. If you have more legal aid, you have more lawyers, cases can be dealt with more quickly. It's very simple.
The Scottish Government says the pilot has been welcomed by many defence solicitors and legal aid fees have been paid early to reflect the new approach. That argument will rumble on. For the national rollout to make a real difference, all sides will have to be on side. David Cowan, BBC News.